Okay. Welcome everybody to the December 2024 WITI LinkSV session. Was it just December 2023, Bob and Don? I feel like that was a
Seems
couple
like
weeks
it.
ago.
Time passes.
We've been zooming at the speed of AI. I know some of the people with intros talked about development and with AI, and we're building our whole new platform that'll be out early next year using Claude as our developers. So it's pretty exciting, all the things you can do now in the transformation of the industry. I think we're going to see that quite a bit, Don and Bob, in the numbers you'll be showing us. So Don, let me turn it over to you, and please intro yourself, and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, David. I'm Dawn DeBruin, Bob's partner in LinkSV. And what I'm going to show you today is information that we have culled in the process of putting together our newsletter, which I'll tell you a little bit more about at the end. We're going to review November and look at what's happened this year and what kind of trends we're looking at going forward. So the month of November, like the rest of this year, it's been really fascinating. We have seen ups and downs, highs and lows in funding. In November, we saw 12.6 billion going out to 149 companies. Now that's 6 billion less than October, but nonetheless, it is a magnitude greater than the last two Novembers and almost as much as we saw in the exuberance of 2021. But that 12.6 billion is not distributed with any parity among sectors or among entrepreneurs. It is incredibly heavily weighted on AI, and you're going to see the influence of AI almost every step of the way as we talk this through. But the month of November with that 12.6 billion took us to 75 billion for the year, which we've already surpassed last year and the year before. Very unlikely we'll hit the 123 billion of 2021, but it's going to be a new high mark. And again, largely driven by the impact of AI. So let's go take a little bit of a look. So out of that 12.6 billion, you can see that AI got more than 80% of the dollars that were invested. They used to say that software was, Andreessen Horowitz actually said, software is eating the world, AI is eating the world. Both pure AI, AI infrastructure, and applied into development tools, applications. We'll see this all along. So taking that one step further, the other trend that we've seen, an increasing number of mega deals as the year goes on. The mega deals, if you haven't joined us before, mega deal is 100 million or more going out to a single company and a single funding. Now we saw 11 of these in the month of November. Two of them outsized, we're talking about billions, not millions. And we'll break that down in just a little bit, but you can see this is 10.7 billion of our 12.6 came in mega deals. Of that 10.7 billion, 10.1 billion was in the artificial intelligence sector, which is infrastructure, frontier models, development tools. And outside of that, the remaining mega deals literally all went to companies who were applying AI in their particular verticals. Aviation, customer service, enterprise software. We'll look a little bit more at the companies now. So on the pure AI side of things, you had XAI, Elon Musk's company, pull in $5 billion. that they're putting towards their general AI foundation models, as well as a supercomputer they're in the process of building for purely AI. Now, right underneath that was Anthropic with 4 billion, and physical intelligence, also foundation, but really focused towards IoT and robotics. Now, those three companies are all software oriented, even though you've got the supercomputer on the side. But on the other side, the three companies are totally focused on the hardware perspective, from TensTorrent with full up AI optimized computers, Rain AI building chips as well as other hardware infrastructure that makes it more effective and efficient for AI. And in Fabrica, going 2 steps deeper to the internal systems. And this is just a matter of companies are looking for every single bit of the architecture. Where do you hurry up and wait? If everything else is really fast, what's holding you up? And they are rebuilding little by little every bit of the computer architecture, and outside that, networking to support it.
Hey, Don,
Yeah, Bob.
I'm going to throw one thing there. I'm just thinking out loud that when these companies raise capital, most of that money is going to go for their own development, but some of that money is going to go to give them the ability to make some acquisitions. So all these little companies out there in AI who are looking to get funded, they should be enheartened by the fact that there's somebody with money who will be buying. So these people will be making acquisitions on startup companies.
It's interesting. The smaller companies probably will. And, with Trump coming in, possibly the antitrust aspect that has prevented acquisitions from the 3 big people or 4 big companies, well, maybe that goes away and we do start getting it. All right, so a little bit more on that later, because there's been some more developments in the newest thing. Instead of acquisitions, reverse acquihires. We'll get to that. Okay, so pure intelligent AI here, and our next. These are applications, but virtually every one of them is using AI in some way. From the biotech to Skydio on drones, financial, Lumen Digital, and Writer is probably the biggest of the applications with 200 million, and that's pure enterprise play. But they're far enough along that they were able to command a very large Series B. And the one unusual one, or the most unusual one on here, Zero Gravity Labs. And they denote themselves as 0G. So if you see either one of those nomenclatures, it's them. They pulled in a 290 million seed focused on Web3 modular AI blockchain. So it's a bit of an overlap between AI and Web3 infrastructure, but it is the largest Web3 funding that we've seen in quite some time. And now let's touch on women-led companies. We had a wonderful 31% of funding last month go to women-led companies due to a couple of the later stage fundings, large later stage fundings, were to companies led by women. This month, we're back to what is more normal, which is between 2 and 3% of fundings going to women-led companies. Now, I've got to point out that this 2.7 only is that high because May Habib, woman leads writer.com, and their 200 million obviously bumped this figure way up. We would otherwise have been down around 1 point something% or just below. So the presence of women in AI is generally limited. when we look at the AI companies and we look at their CEOs, and this is just, again, a slice of the industry, but it's a big slice in the Valley. But generally, less than 10% of the CEOs are women. As that expands, we should see this number expand. And we're hoping to see that happen next year, but it takes time. We need more women CEOs, and we need more women VCs. So out of those companies that are women-led, there's May Habib on the upper right. And there were 19 in total. I chose 6 of them, or 5 of them, that are worth mentioning. I mentioned women being in short supply in AI, and Pathway has just come out. They were in stealth for a while. They came out with a $10 million seed. Zuzana Stamirovska is one of the few female CEOs and co-founders of pure AI companies, the AI infrastructure that we've seen. Now, other interesting stuff that's going on. Joe Lawson. Here's Loom. This is not where you'd expect to see robotics, but it is one of the earliest robotics consumer applications we saw.
Eyelash extension.
And they've now gotten their Series A. This is eyelash extensions done by a robotic system. And over on the right, we have algorized. This caught my eye because it's very low level. It crosses multiple verticals from real estate to IoT, automobiles. And it's a system that comes out of Berkeley's research and is now being commercialized by Algorized. So we'll be watching to see their progress. And the last one to mention here, and again, this is notable. We don't see a lot of women in security, but Brooke Mata with Rad Security, the 2.4 million Series A is actually an extension. They've pulled in about 9 million total capital. This is security and cybersecurity is one of the more active areas, and of course, applying AI to that is what we're seeing across the board. I just noticed there are questions in chat. David and Bob, please break in if there's something we can expand on appropriately here.
We'll let you know. Susie says she can't wait till the robotic eyelash. Is that what you're talking about, Susie?
Yeah, they're over in Oakland and they're active now.
Look,
Right.
when you're saving lives, you're bringing people back from the dead, you see money going into eyelashes.
I hear you.
Where are
happens.
our priorities?
True.
Right?
True.
Yeah, in this case, it's a personal passion of hers.
Well, yeah, but when you're on the edge of death, who cares about your eyelashes?
Susie, you gotta go
Right.
on the flow here now. Come on, we're going into everything.
Oh
Otherwise,
my
you're
God.
gonna get too upset about it. There's money going everywhere.
Yep, let's move on from the eyelashes, folks.
Yeah.
She can
Dear
cut you in on
Jesus.
some of that, Susie. Sorry,
Huh?
continue. I said she can maybe cut you in on some of that after she builds the empire with the
No,
eye.
thanks.
There you go.
Okay, so AI companies. We had so many AI company fundings this month that just impossible to include them all even on 3 slides. But just breaking them down into general areas, you've got the compute hardware area, and Akash, Rain, Sagence, TensTorrent, and Fabrica MatX are all going at the how do we provide more compute more effectively at less money. That's their baby. And I'll provide links to all of these in the notes afterwards. On the other side, you've also got compute software. So how do you in software speed up, make more effective, clear the pathways, if you will, for the AI processing? We only had one data tool funding this month, and that's actually unusual. We've seen quite a bit of that, but Anomalo came back for a Series B. And going back around, of course, despite the drum roll of comments about LLMs having hit a plateau and maybe not effective to keep putting more money in there, the VCs keep putting more money in there. Lots of money went out to fund it, foundation models. I missed OpenAI there. So that's continuing to draw, and it's actually continuing to draw the most dollars in terms of AI investment. And then you've got the LLM tools. How do you make it easier, faster, more effective to build, to tweak, to train, to after the fact do further training of your LLMs? And these four companies all have different takes on how to optimize for that. Now, the last area, this is applied software, and this just started coming out this year. Next year, you're going to see agents eating software applications because there are our first wave of AI agents being released has been happening for about the last 90 days. It's going to increase and accelerate. Is everyone familiar with the difference between assistant and agent? Now, the agent can presumably come to a decision and take an action rather than providing support, if you will. So you've got Cresta, Optimize, Thesis, Security, Embed Security. Now, these companies go across security, customer service has probably been the fastest out with agents. No surprise. The agents for enterprise software, starting from just basic support of people within the enterprise to now all of the technical functions, the accounting, the communications, and so on. The last company there with that weird name, /dev/agents, is actually creating an entire development platform as well as their own agents. So development assistance for the developers, for the agents. So this is the landscape we're at now. You're going to see the chunk of money going into software increase and the agents increase. And next year, we will see the applied AI across the board, I believe, in every sector. Those that we have not seen it in yet, it will. Going the wrong way here. So let's talk just generally about the environment in Silicon Valley and beyond for funding, because I said it had been a year of ups and downs, and if you are an AI company, if you're a well-connected entrepreneur, there has been ample funding out there for you, and we've seen it obviously in these numbers. But if you're not well-connected, and if you're not a serial entrepreneur and not doing something groundbreaking in AI, it has been a really, really tough year. Bob has dubbed it the nuclear winter. Now, then you have to look at why that is. Well, why that is because the last 2.5 years, we're going on 2.5 years now, there has been a dearth of exits. There's this virtuous cycle in Silicon Valley where startups get money, they grow, They keep growing and then they exit. They're bought for large dollars, they IPO for large dollars, and that money goes back to the VCs, it goes back to the founders, it goes back to the limited partners who invested with the VCs. And there hasn't been much of that for more than 2 years. And until that restarts significantly, it's going to be a really tough funding environment for everyone but the AI and serial entrepreneurs. So just taking a look at M&A, M&A, there's not much to say about because the biggest M&As this year, Figma, for example, got blocked by government regulators. Looking ahead, maybe the Trump administration will drop that down a little as far as sensitivity to antitrust, to be seen. On the IPO front, over the last year, we've had 1, 2, 3, what is this, 6, 7, 10 some IPOs. And you can see at the beginning of the year, all 3 of those, which are all biotech, they're all down dramatically. And they're all not doing well in terms of the research that they originally IPO'd on. The Alumis and Silvico group are emblematic of another whole group of companies, tech companies, that decided to do their IPOs via something called a SPAC, which didn't require as much preparation, documentation, oversight, and regulation. And almost all of those companies have either flamed out completely or are way down and have problems going forward. We have had a few IPOs for tech that are very promising. Astera Labs, Reddit, Rubrik, Cerebell, and Septerna, are all up. The companies are doing well. There is talk around the valley and hope that as we come into 25, we're going to see the IPO market open up. And when it does, there's a long, long queue of companies who have filed to go public, have said, I want to go public. Here's all of the documentation, all of our supporting details. And they've done that confidentially. NASDAQ says there's more than 100 waiting to go. And they include companies like Stripe and Databricks, huge companies that have chosen not to go public at this time. They don't need the money. They have taken care of their employees by doing a secondary offering, letting their employees sell shares to someone outside the company, investors or other individuals. So the pressure on them to go public is off. Again, we'll see what happens in 2025, but that if that goes well, that in turn bodes well for the rest of the funding environment, Silicon Valley and beyond. So just to recap on this, all this detail, Bob and I pulled together in the course of doing the research to put out Pulse of the Valley, our weekday newsletter. And we do this 5 days a week. It's new fundings, it's executive moves. We also cover M&A, IPOs, and we're now covering VCs as well, who's getting new funds, which VCs are moving from company to company. And that is the base, if you will, of the detail that goes into what is now a 20-year plus database of information on funding and business activity in the Valley. Overall, what we're doing, connecting people, capital, and companies. We do the research so our customers don't have to. We also offer alerts so that if people don't necessarily want to comb through the detail in the newsletter, they can get an individual email on just the kind of events whether it's funding, M&A, hires they want. And for the entrepreneurs in the crowd, in conjunction with our fundraising, flexible fundraising platform, we're now offering a entrepreneur membership. It's just $7 a month. And if you're thinking about fundraising, then this is a good thing for you to look at. We're continuing to expand our program with accelerators. I think I mentioned last time Berkeley Skydeck was our latest sign up. And we'll be talking even more about a new program we're starting, which is AI-powered grant identification and support to enable the small companies. You're starting to fundraise. You've got some technical research that potentially could bring a grant in, and this is a way to speed up that process, to make it easy, and it's worth talking to us about. You can sign up for free, 2 weeks free, at linksv.com to the full program, and I think that does it from there. David, I'm gonna
Okay.
turn it back to you from here, and thank you.
Thank you, Don. Amazing. And just amazing how just all the stuff happening in AI now. I do want to turn you on to Gamma too, Don. I don't know if you've used it much, but we will. There's just so many different tools out there. You can't keep a hold of